All right, welcome back to Problem Solver Politics. I am your host, Cardin Ellis, with Cody the Oracle.
Hey, everybody.
And today we got a question. Cody brought up a very good point as we were discussing much of the day's news with Andrew Yang. We thought we'd make an entire video out of it because it has been this nagging angustia, as we say in Spanish, my friend. It's been a nagging little intellectual needle in the back of our brains. Constantly in these articles referring to Andrew Yang, they call him a tech entrepreneur, okay? But in both of our opinions, this is really not correct, but is the widespread dogma. And we want to try and see if there's any straight record setting that needs to get done. Cody, tell us what's going on.
Well, just over the last few seconds, I was flipping through some different web pages here, and you can see time and time again, Andrew Yang is referred to as tech entrepreneur Andrew Yang. Here we have it in Newsweek, we have it in Mike.com, we have The Grio, not super familiar, even they got him as a tech entrepreneur. The Hill's even referring to tech entrepreneur. We have all kinds of different people referring him to this. Now, by and large, it's not really that big a deal, right? Like, who cares if everyone refers to Andrew Yang a tech entrepreneur for the most part? But what's interesting is following this and seeing, here's the Post-Gazette. I think I have... Is this, do I have more here on that even? No, sorry, moving to this next. Anyway, I probably could have put up like 15 articles of them calling Andrew Yang a tech entrepreneur. Now, the reason why this stuck out today, and the reason why I kind of wanted to do a video on it right now, was last night, MSNBC, in their latest series of constant gaffes in relation to Andrew Yang, put out perhaps the most bizarre one, though. I want to speak for itself for the most part. Shout out to who tweeted this out. Thank you, at Morgan5133. Some of you guys tweet it, just one I grabbed. Anyway. I forgot the name of the show, I'll pull it up in a second. They had in the bottom third, it said, Billionaire Andrew Yang puts universal basic income proposal to the test.
Yeah.
Now, for a lot of you guys listening, you probably are familiar with Andrew Yang not being a billionaire. You would think in an election that's highly publicized for having two billionaires running, you would remember, there's two highly publicized billionaires, and they aren't Andrew Yang. They're Tom Steyer and Michael Bloomberg. And then you can say Donald Trump, but that's the Republican side. So why would they put this? And the thing is, it got me thinking too. At first, it annoyed me and frustrated me because it's obvious someone didn't do their homework at all, or they're intentionally slighting him.
Well, and then also the original people that didn't do their homework established a literary precedent in journalism, referring to him as a tech entrepreneur. So anybody that wrote articles about him reading into him were reading articles that he's a tech entrepreneur, which isn't true. Well, I shouldn't say isn't true, but isn't correct.
Well, we'll get into that in a minute, because I think it speaks to the larger thing here. Yeah, is that the media has this idea of Andrew Yang. And do you know who the media sees Andrew Yang as, apparently? And you know what? They told us. They actually let it slip the other day, and they told us. I don't know, a lot of you guys probably remember seeing this, but this was posted by CNBC, not MSNBC, but I believe you go up high enough, same person at the top.
Yeah.
Anyway, they posted a picture. I'll blow it up. A lot of you guys probably saw this, where they posted that Andrew Yang raised $16.5 million. Unfortunately, they did not use a picture of Andrew Yang. They used a picture of Jeff Yang, who I guess they are both Asian and named Yang. Both businessmen. I guess once you get past that, they don't look that much alike at all. I guess, no, I'm not going to give them anything. Maybe the picture was small. No, they don't look anything alike for the most part, and they have nothing to do with each other for the most part. But why is it when the media is thinking of Andrew Yang who they're thinking of? And I think this is actually really interesting. I didn't put two and two together at the time. So who is this Jeff Yang? I actually tweeted out, this is Jeff Yang and I am not running for president, right?
Yeah. But
I went to Jeff Yang's website to take a look at who Jeff Yang is. You know who Jeff Yang is? Jeff Yang is that person they think Andrew Yang is. I swear to God. And there's no offense to him, but look, this is what he's a founding partner of Red Point Ventures. He's sitting on the board of multiple tech companies.
He collects pieces of fine art and literature.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is MySpace, Ask.com, he literally sits on the board of tech companies and is based out of Silicon Valley. He is the tech entrepreneur they keep confusing Andrew Yang for. And I think they kind of let it slip and showed it to us that, Andrew Yang isn't this guy. He's not the rich. He's not one of those rich billionaire Yangs. No. And this is what we'll get to the next part of this that really is one of the reasons why I've taken slight exception to him and called him tech entrepreneur the whole time is because why do they call him a tech entrepreneur? Realistically, we were talking before, you probably have a better justification for calling him an author than you do a tech entrepreneur.
Yeah, it's true because in a very multifaceted light, there's probably 5 titles we could give him. Okay. Depending on, lawyer, first off, he got his freaking Juris Doctorate here. And like all the other members of Congress, he's a lawyer. Okay. But we don't call him lawyer.
Because he didn't like it.
Yeah, because he didn't like it. And then he wrote his book, which makes him author. He founded his educational company. So you could almost say like education entrepreneur.
Well, he didn't defined Manhattan Prep, I believe he founded Venture for America.
Oh, you're right. Venture for America is slightly different, but he worked at Manhattan Prep, which was an education technology thing. So we could call him an education technology professional. You know, like
the test prep company.
Yeah, test prep, bro.
Well, the larger point is to not get too lost in the weeds here. What I'm trying to explain is, so what is it that his tech career was? So we'll go over. This is Wikipedia. It's a little bit small, but I'll put it to the top of you guys. So he left his law firm we were talking about earlier in February of 2000 to join his office mate Jonathan Phillips in launching Stargiving, a website for celebrity affiliated philanthropic fundraising. The startup had some initial success, but folded in 2002 as a result of the end of the dot-com bubble. Yang became involved in other ventures, including a party organizing business from 2002 to 2005. He served as the vice president of a healthcare startup. So he is clearly involved in business. But what was interesting is Andrew Yang, in an article earlier this year, I believe with the Washington Post, he explained what it was like when he was a tech entrepreneur, and I think this is really kind of interesting. Now, I guess we get into the semantics of was things tech, but I mean, this was the tech startup he found with a friend. So he explains it. Ready?
Okay, hit it.
It flopped. He went broke, lost his apartment, lost weight and confidence, and wondered, along with his worried parents, how he was going to pay $110,000 in law school debt. That was the tech entrepreneurial.
He better make president now with a quote like that floating around. That's like Michael Jordan getting fired from his high school team.
This is something to be from the Washington Post, but I mean, like, this is how Andrew Yang describes his tech startup portion of his career, his tech entrepreneur portion of his career. And so we're looking, and again, the only thing I can come to is the Jeff Yang picture is the best thing I can think of it. They literally have a vision in their mind of who Andrew Yang is. And it is not, because like I always joke, Andrew Yang should be getting a lot more crap for being from New York. You know what I mean? Like, candidates always get clowned on for being from New York. People generally not from New York don't like people from New York. But for whatever reason, Andrew Yang is thought of as some like Silicon Valley guy. I don't understand why.
People literally think he's like from San Francisco or something.
Yeah, they think he's like legitimately one of these dudes who they think he's Jeff Yang. They think he sits on the boards of like Scribd in Silicon Valley. They don't understand that's not him. But the reason why I kind of bring this up and talk about it is why? Why do they keep doing that? To what end? Why is... Because not everybody calls him tech entrepreneur. A lot of people refer to him as businessman or entrepreneur. Or they'll say Andrew Yang, who founded Venture for America. Like, there seems to be a certain part of the media that just sees Andrew Yang and they go, oh, he's one of those Asian billionaire tech guys. And they just label him as that. Moving on. That's Andrew Yang now. To the point of they actually, and I will just for the sake of record point out that MSNBC, it was Richard Liu, earlier in the 4 p.m. hour on MSNBC, the screen text mistakenly identified Andrew Yang as a billionaire. We apologize for the error. And the one last thing I want to show here, before we kind of just talk about this a little bit and wrap up, is what is Andrew Yang actually worth, right? Like, what is this? Were they close? Is Andrew Yang like, because, maybe you call somebody like John Delaney a billionaire. He's not a billionaire, but he's worth $200 million. Yeah, he's a wealthy individual, right?
It's almost like billionaire would then just be the colloquial reference to rich guy.
Super rich, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I can remember, there's two highly publicized billionaires running for president.
Because you literally can be a millionaire and just have a middle class life in Southern California.
Well, remember Elizabeth Warren. I think it's Elizabeth Warren who's worth $12 million, but like $9 million of that is a house that's appreciated greatly over the last 20 years. Like it's like
exactly.
Not. But here, where's Andrew Yang on this list? Is he? So he's not one of the two highly publicized billionaires. So he wasn't a billionaire. He's not super rich. Oh, he's not even like Beto O'Rourke rich. He's not even Amy Klobuchar rich. Where is he? He's not even Marianne Williams. He's not Kristen Gillibrand. Oh, so he's
poor boy.
He's worth about $1 million, which again, if you look at it, he released his finances, and I believe most of that net worth comes from a house he owns. Like it's why? Because again, these mistakes, those two mistakes, I think are the most telling of what they think about Andrew Yang because they make no sense. Like, why would you just use a picture of someone else instead of Andrew Yang? They did the same for Tulsi Gabbard with highlighting. I don't know. It could be shade. It could be they don't like these people. But there also seems to be this idea that Andrew Yang isn't who he actually is. Andrew Yang isn't somebody who, by the way, remember his tech startup was a philanthropic fundraising startup. It was for fundraising with celebrities. His biggest, most successful thing, time will tell with Venture for America, right, as the businesses continue to grow. But that, again, was giving back. It was philanthropy. They don't really refer too much to his tech startup days. They refer to him as tech entrepreneur. And the thing that's funny to me is it's like, yeah, if you want, maybe you can argue semantics and say that his test prep stuff was more tech than not. But bottom line is, when he was a tech entrepreneur, seemingly the biggest failure of his entire life was being a tech entrepreneur. Yeah. So it's really fascinating to me that even though when he did try to do that, it didn't go well, he lost everything and he had to reinvent himself and discover some other way of doing things, that is still always seen by the media. They still see Andrew Yang, even though he's worth $1 million, they see him as a billionaire. And even though he technically, I mean, sure, he did have a tech startup once, but he did a lot of things after that. Doesn't matter. He's a tech entrepreneur for life now. And I don't know. It just, I thought it, I was trying to think, how do you make that mistake and say that Andrew Yang is actually worth, correct me on my math here, is it how much more times is 1 billion than 1 million?
It's going to be 100 times. No, sorry, it's going to be 1,000 times.
Yeah, so they accidentally thought he was 1,000 times richer than he really is. What? It doesn't make any sense. But I think in the context of, to these people who are just disrespect Andrew Yang, they don't care about him, they don't want to learn more about him, whatever. He's some tech bro billionaire guy. I don't care. Moving on. And yeah, but that's basically what they do. Andrew Yang, dude bro tech billionaire, whatever, moving on, don't ask questions. And they keep doing it. And this is just the latest example.
Also the they is always 30% of the time CNN, 70% of the time MSNBC. Like, what is up
or
over
NBC
there?
News, CNBC.
Yeah, like, what is going on with my alma mater? I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's bad. You don't see Fox News botching it like this. You don't see even the obscure channels like America One Network or like the local, CBS affiliate doing it, It's always MSNBC and their cohorts, man.
Which also could, it does lend
How
more,
bad is it over there?
Well, I'm just saying really quickly, that almost does lend more credence to the idea of it is somewhat intentional, right?
Yeah.
Like you're this wrong always?
Yeah. At this point, I've just lost any ability to try and, I've lost the ability as the king of benefit of the doubt, See, this disproves your little right-wing SJW theory. I wouldn't give so much benefit of the doubt to MSNBC if I were ideologically driven, because I really don't want to think that people are that irresponsible.
Okay. I just think that dumb isn't necessarily like better. You know what I mean?
So, anyway, speaking of dumb, by the way, the most commented thing we've ever had in Problem Solver Politics video history was the face you made when I revealed that I had over a 200 IQ.
Revealed. It's a good word for it.
Yeah, exactly.
And revealed.
So,
revealed.
thanks for your.
I guess you know what?
Your breath of confidence.
I guess just none of us realized how lucky we were, myself included, to be in the presence of an individual such as yourself. But
yeah, so it was actually kind of funny. I can't believe that was the most commented thing, but they loved your face. So anyway, I do have to say that I'm a perpetual benefit of the doubt person, and to a certain extent, Cody, I think you are.
I always give everyone the benefit of the doubt. Yes.
Yeah. You're very much benefit of the doubt person. And there's just a point where you run out of runway. Do you get what I'm saying?
At a certain point, I stop believing you're actually that stupid. Yes. At a certain point, I'm like, I don't think you're this stupid anymore. Maybe I thought you were dumb enough to put the wrong name in the picture. I don't think you're this dumb. I don't think you're so stupid. You forgot Andrew Yang is worth 1/1000th of what he's actually worth. I don't think you're so stupid. You forgot that Andrew Yang isn't Jeff Yang.
Well, and then
he's been on your network, right? I don't.
And then the question starts becoming is how stupid do you think I was that you could get away with it 20 times now? Like Scott Santon's thread that tracks this stuff. Actually, I haven't even checked his thread to see if this specific graphic is on his thread. But Scott Santon's thread of media bias at MSNBC against Andrew Yang is at this point just crippling.
Well, just media as a whole.
Yeah, but I shouldn't single out MSNBC, even though they're probably the majority of the graphics that he calls out.
It's fair enough. It's most of them. I just want to be equal opportunity to everyone else who leaves them off.
Yes. So I really don't, at this point, I'm baffled as to what the motivation could be. I'm baffled as to what the motivation could be and who it's coming from. Because I doubt everybody at their organization, just by the sheer numbers, probably 5% of the employees when they go to work even know who Andrew Yang is. But it requires more than 5% of the employees at that institution in order to get this kind of media bias against him. So obviously it's being instructed upon them and being put upon them by an authority figure somewhere in the organization.
Or just pressure from other outside pressure coming together, right?
Oh, yeah. Or so whether it's from within or without, I'm curious to know who is this person, who is this entity that has it in for this obscure figure that has an old idea of universal basic income.
Well, I think it's more
at this point we have to start talking Illuminati because we've run out of all the basic.
I want to give you. I want to give you
excuses.
What I thought it's been since the whole time. I think there's a sense of, and it exists in every industry ever, of just who do you think you are walking in, never got one person to vote for you a day in your life running for president, outpolling me, while senators, governors, congresspeople, people you're supposed to respect and look up to, Cory Booker dropped out today. Like, why? I think there's this little bit of sense in the, and I could be wrong here, but I've worked in enough industries and I've been around enough people and enough social dynamics to know who does this person think he is. They haven't paid their dues. I have. Prevails everywhere, always, all the time. I'm sure there's Discord channels somewhere out there on the internet where that's happening right now. Who does this person think they is getting all this attention? I've been doing, you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't matter what it is, whether it's the Capitol building. It doesn't matter if it's Taco Bell. It doesn't matter if it's a thread on the internet. There is always this sense of, I've paid my dues, you haven't, who do you think you are? Always, everywhere. And I think part of it comes from a little bit of you could argue some partial truth to it, right? I mean, like, the fact that nobody's ever cast one vote for Andrew Yang in his life in an actual official election, that's a valid criticism. However, it's not a reason to do this. It's not a reason to bar somebody from participation, right? Because here's the thing. I guess my last thing I'll put to it, it does end up being a pretty big indictment of the system when somebody from outside of the system comes in and starts taking a lot of attention from people from within it. You know what I mean? It does kind of say, well, who am I to run anything? Who are you, senator, congressperson, X amount of years who barely polls at 1 or 2%? I've never had office in my life and I can get, you know what I mean? Like, It goes both ways. But that's just my opinion on it.
Yeah, so anyway, we want to know what your guys' opinion is. So please make sure that you comment below and let us know. Also, if anybody has some insight as to where this legendary status of tech entrepreneur came from, at least in contrast to all of his other titles, we would absolutely welcome it, because it has kind of been something that made us think and gave us pause and took us aback ever since we started covering Andrew Yang. So please comment below. If you haven't had a chance, remember to like this, subscribe. This is Problem Solver Politics. We'll see you guys in the next